In a surprising twist to both this patch and my sleep schedule, Inkshadow has made its glorious return. You might remember this skin line from a couple years ago, serving as the new thematic of choice to represent MSI, but considering this year they're releasing a couple patches before MSI,
bad timing.
Instead they're back to serve a different but equally grand purpose. Making sure us poor people have something we can realistically spend our money on this week.
How much?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, these existing at all really give off the vibes that Odyssey did when it made its first and only comeback. A skin line of once great importance with multiple banger skins, cinematics, and hype reduced to basically filler. Only this time they don't even get to be the star of the show on their own release patch, siphoned away by the not at all controversial $500 Kaisa skin. I thought it best that we split these two topics up into two separate videos anyway, so while we're here to talk about Inkshadow then, let's start with Inkshadow Lee Sin. Potentially a hot take because I've seen the comments, but
I like this one.
It's got a simple but striking color scheme with the twisting streaks of black and white down the ponytail mimicking a brush dipped in ink. In fact, it's one of the only skins he has that actually uses his hair creatively, if at all, as is customary with the usual Lee Sin bias. The sound design is on point, and lore-wise, it is incredibly cheeky that they chose now of all times to give Lee Sin and Udyr skin line to share together. Could be any reason, really. I think it's a pretty decent offer for Lee Sin, even if he really needs to stop with the glasses in every skin. Like, are you trying to purposely get confused with Zenith Games?
Take that ridiculous thing off.
Rose Quartz is the best chroma, 7.5 out of 10. Inkshadow Neela. Neela's second ever post-launch skins, if you believe it, discounting the peak scene in Wild Rift.
I want this one.
Like Lee Sin, it has great color contrast with the bright orange ink complementing the black, white, and purple of her clothes, and in a shocking twist in the ink-themed skin line, there's one that finally uses an actual paintbrush. So I have to wonder why they did all this gymnastics to give one to Neela when Hui has been out for almost 2 years and still has
nothing.
This is a fine skin for Neela, but just fine. It doesn't really do anything to dissuade the itch that Riot couldn't give less of a damn about her. I mean, just look at that bio. What the hell is that? Neela was once asked what she sacrificed to make a pact with the ancient smiling Ashlash. Neela laughs and says, I don't know, it was a long time ago. Sapphire is the best chroma, 6.5 out of 10. Inkshadow Pyke. I think it should be pretty obvious now that Pyke is one of them. Joining the ranks of similar characters like Yone, Lux, and Kaisa, he can't go 6 months without getting a new skin. And for this instance, it doesn't really help that the evil spirit of ink idea already partially overlaps with Blood Moon, but there is a lot to enjoy here. As usual, Pyke is golden in the sound design department, especially with that unique pentakill music, and at least the skin line's aesthetics are better incorporated into his kit than most, turning into ink during his W and the after image trail of his E being a scroll. But I must say, for the amount of skins he has that actually do animate the dagger in some way, it's a shame this one doesn't replicate the base skin's watery effects to make the dagger look more like ink in this skin. And also, for the love of God, stop giving him hair, it's just weird. Rose Quartz is the best chroma, 6 out of 10. Inkshadow Renekton. For context, he's supposed to be a spirit like Volibear, but while Tony the Tiger over here ingeniously visualized tattoos by exaggerating tiger stripes, Renekton doesn't even live up to the texturing of his gorgeous splash art. You see it too, right? Like, there's supposed to be a beige to purple gradient on his skin patterning, but in-game, he's just an albino gator.
Not even special!
But what really stinks about this one is that I do see the vision. Making a wrathful god of the polluted river is such a fun way to tie back to his original Sobek inspirations, and using toxic sludge and tar in place of the ink is a fun way to push the boundaries of this skin line's identity without going overboard.
Talking about?
Honestly, tell me you could have ever known he was supposed to be a god of pollution without me telling you directly. Hell, peel those Inkshadow logos off him and tell me you could even understand this was supposed to be an Inkshadow skin at all. Pearl is the best chroma, 4 out of 10. Overall, Inkshadow 2025 gets a 6 out of 10. Personally, I don't think Inkshadow's return is as bad as Odyssey's was. For the most part, most of these are just
okay.
I think the real pain point here is how an anticipated skinline 2 return has been shoved in alongside the real cash grab of the patch, making them feel less like a grand revival and more like fluff to fill in the revenue gaps, or in the worst case, shoving mediocre skins into the same patch as the hyper-expensive one to make that hyper-expensive offering look better by comparison.
You have the greed that they were talking about in the Bible.
But those are just my thoughts. What do you fellas think of Inkshadow 2025? Do you like what you see? Maybe there's a champion you wish had been a part of it. Quay, like, I know it's obvious, but like, it's obvious for a reason. Be sure to tell me down in the comments below. But until next time, fellas, there is a lot on the horizon. Act 2 of Spirit Blossom is on the way, which means more region swaps, more gacha, and more... Oh, so that's why Hui wasn't an Inkshadow. Anyways, hopefully I'll see you then when those do release, or in the next video.